Okay, so hi everyone. Thanks for coming today for our session. It's the first session about communications, and today we will talk about more about oral communications, what oral communications is, what are the skills that you need to have, and with that note, I will start sharing my screen, and maybe you can see a presentation here. Let me make it. Uh, yeah, let me make it full screen. Okay, so let's talk about what oral communications are. This is just my career venture that I will quickly go. So my question to all of you is, what do you know about communications? The terms communication is derived from what? Does anyone know? If anyone knows, please unmute yourself and say it. If not, then I will wait just for a minute and I will let you know. Anyone knows what communication is? Okay, so the word communication is it actually came from the Latin word communicatio, which means a sharing or imparting your knowledge, right? So any form of conversation or talking, just like I am talking to you. So it means I am having a communications with you. So let's go on and dig more into what communications is. So there are different forms of communications. Uh, until now, there are 5 types of communications which are known. One is the verbal, which means which I am doing right now, the oral one, when we are speaking or engaging with other people. So what verbal is about? Let me actually turn on my pointer. And if you see here, it means that you need to use a strong and confident speaking voice. You need to be confident what you are saying. You need to also have active listening. For example, when you are speaking, the other person will respond. So you need to be an active listener also. You need to avoid the filler words. So you don't need to use like a very difficult or complex or out of context words. So you need to stay in the line, stay focused in on the topic what you are talking about, saying mainly. Avoid industry jargon when appropriate. So yeah, you don't need to use the different terms in a simple or lay language. Just use the lay words. Non-verbal communication that we will talk about later, it is about any form which is not verbal. It can be the visual, just like just these graphics, or it can be the written one. So non-verbal, always notice how your communications feel physically, because when you are non-verbal and you are communicating in writing or in a graphic, people don't know your body language, so they can take the words as they are written. So you need to be very clear that how the people can feel it, can feel your words. Be intentional about your non-verbal communication. You need to have your clear intentions, that what your target is, which type, what is the purpose of your communication, and what you are trying to convey. Mimic the non-verbal communications you find effective. So this is also that you need to find the way which is more effective and which is more easier for you to convey what you want to tell. Visual, so visual also fall under the non-verbal because it doesn't involve the oral communication. And in this, they are the ask others before including the visuals. So if you are including the visuals from other people, you can always ask, take their permission or copyrights, or add their link, just like here the link is added. Or what you can do is, if it is targeting certain topic, for example gender equality, right? So you need to add the visuals which does not harm or offend anyone, right? And only use visual if they add value. Consider your audience, which audience you're targeting. If you're targeting children, you need to be careful about your visuals. If you're targeting women, then you need to have different types of visuals, right? So written also falls under non-verbal. So it means that it's the simple words. Use the simple words. Don't rely on tone. Don't pour your sentiments into it. Be neutral in your approach and try to convince other people. Take time to review your written communication. Always, whenever you have written an email, for example, to say something, wait for it. Okay, I mean, like review it afterwards. So the next is keep a file of writing you find effective or enjoyable. So always keep a file of writing which you read online, which you think you can use some sort of the context, or you can use that idea to convey some message. It is an effective way of conveying, so you can just always keep it. So, for key concepts of communication, there are 5 key concepts of communication. We already talked. I will talk about other later. I would like to um, focus more on, for example, one is clear purpose. What is your clear purpose? What do you want to say? Correct grammar or spelling. So always in writing, at least in writing, you can check if your grammar is correct, your spellings are correct before you send out the email. And concise expressions, and eliminate excessive words. Only provide information which is asked for. You don't have to say everything as an answer to one question, right? So be very concise, very precise what you are saying. Coherent. There should be a coherent flow of ideas. There should be no like, it should not be like this, so that when you are saying one sentence and then the next sentence and there is no link between two sentences, right? Controlling. Control the flow of the words and your ideas. So there are 10 elements of communication. Elements means what you need for communication, for oral communications, for example, or a verbal communication. Number one, facial expression. Your facial expressions matter a lot. Your facial expressions also show how confident you are, which type of the sentiment you are expressing. And so facial expressions and gestures are all, it also goes with your attitude, your behavior, and whichever type of emotions and feelings you are pouring into. Hobo signs. These were the hobo signs and symbols which were used in the past to communicate certain idea. So you see that all of these symbols mean something. For example, this circle with arrow means on this way. These two square like in this way, it means keep quiet. So you can still put the symbol and people would know, oh, you mean this way. You mean this thing, right? Emoticons. These days, emoticons and emojis are so famous. So you can always use emoticons for conveying the message that you want to convey. Sign language is this. For example, most of the times when we are talking with physically challenged people who have disability to speak or to hear, so you use the sign language, right? So you use the hands and you use some sort of expressions, and this is how you convey your message. But sign language can be useful for everyone. It can be useful for you too when you want to stay silent but you still want to convey a message. So I think certain form of, you can, or you are having a pain, you are in medical emergency, you cannot speak, so you can certainly show by showing your body language, like what you need, like if you need help, then which type of the help you need. So there should be a sign. So I think the basic sign language is just the movement, like for us, not for the physically challenged people. They have the specific sign language that we need to learn. But for us, for example, you can use your hands, you can use your facial expression, you can use your body language to incorporate all these things into the sign language. Music is another form of communication, right? Whenever you hear a soft music, a fast music, rock music, it affects your feelings, it affects your emotions. And sometimes even when you are in certain form of emotion, you would like to hear certain style of music. So music is another form of communication. uh, the big 5 languages, yeah, the big 5 languages are which languages, which are the global one of them is English for sure. So English is like a universal language that you need to learn. But other Which languages are Spanish is one of the language, French, Russian, Arabic. So these are the languages which are basically the global languages, and it will help you to communicate easily. Now let's see what are the 7 C's of effective communication. When you want to, for example, you are going for a job interview, or you want to start a business, and you are going to get a capital for your business. So what are the basic elements that you need to know for effective communication? First of all, you need to be clear. Make your objective clear. Avoid complex words and phrases. Use a simple and lay language, and stick to the target what you are going to say, and focus on your aim. What is the aim of that communication? Be concise, keep it clear and to the point. That's what I said right now. Avoid filler words and sentences. Concrete, be specific, not vague. Like I already said, be targeted to your aim. What do you want to say? And be specific. Use facts and figures to support your message. Don't use so much of the extra information. For example, what if you want to be something in your life, right? And you are saying, okay, I would like to be a chef, and then the other person is asking, okay, why would you like to be a chef? And then instead of using the facts and figures of why you want to be, you're just jumping in that, oh no, I and the other person is saying, I don't like chefs, why do you want to be a chef? And you are saying, I don't care if you want like chefs or not, I just want to be a chef, that's it. It's okay you want to be a chef, but you need to use some facts and figures. You need to say, okay, because chefs, when you are a chef, you get a chance to create different types of dishes. And you can get to know different types of cuisines, and you can create new taste, and you can always play with ingredients, different sort of spices. There are so many spices available in this world, and this also by um, cooking, and by like different types of foods or different types of cuisines, you also bring different cultures together. So you see how I am saying, you are using different words, you are using different, but in an effective way, that the other person can be convinced, and another person would say, oh yeah, I think it is good to mix, to bring different cultures together when we eat and we try different dishes and different cuisines, right? So it is this way. Correct. So try to avoid typos. Use correct facts and figures. You cannot uh, like fabricate the facts. You cannot fake the facts, right? Use the right level of language. Coherent. So coherent, does your message make any sense? Ensure it flows logically. Avoid covering too much. Yeah. Also be if I am asking you one question and you are answering it for 5-10 minutes, it will be too much, right? It will be too much for me, and I will say, oh man, this person speaks a lot, I hope this person can give me also a chance to speak. This person is talking too much, right? So complete, does the message contain everything it needs to? Include a call to action. So whatever you want to say, it should be complete. So always, if you are going for interviews or for specific type of communications, I always suggest write the pinpoints, at least the bullet points on the paper before. Think about it beforehand and write down all the points that you are going to cover in your conversation. So that you don't miss any point when you finish your meeting, right? Courteous. So you need to be polite. That builds the goodwill. You don't need to hit the other person. Even if you don't agree, just say, I don't agree. But if you can consider these points, that would be very good. It would be good for our project. It would be good for this agenda. So it would be good for this institute and organization. And it is just my opinion. And your message is tactful. That's the same thing that I said before. Now, 5 C's of verbal communications. Competent. So you have to back up whatever you are saying. Competent means, for example, if someone is asking you a question or something, you need to have a backup information. For example, if you are selling your business idea, you want to have a business, you want to be a chef, for example, and I'm asking you why you want to be a chef, and then you are telling me all these things that I said before, that you get a chance to taste different cuisines, you get a chance to create different cuisines. But then I am asking you, yeah, that's good that you can do all these things and you can bring different cultures together, etc. That's a good thing. But what I can get, because I'm going to give you a money for your business. So what I can get, what is the benefit? So you need to have with the backup information. Oh, actually, this will be a very profitable. Why it is going to be a profitable? Why it is a different idea that people can be attracted towards this idea? Then you can say, because the cuisine that I am creating, there is a big demand in this area where I'm going to open my restaurant. There are not so many restaurants who offer this cuisine, or if there is one restaurant, but their uh, price is so high that many people they don't go there. So my price will be average, and because it's very minimal. And why my prices are minimal? Because I use like simple ingredients to create something different, or create something same that they are creating, but with a very high cost. I can create the same thing with very low cost. So that's why my profit margin is very high. Or there is lots of demand, but there is not so much resources available in this area. That's why. So you need to have the backup information with right facts and right information. Calm. If you stay calm during your conversation, it will be very good. How? For example, if people are asking you question or they are discussing, stay calm and listen what they are saying. So you need to be like just listen means just uh, think and process the information in your brain, whatever they are saying. First take all the information in, and they then say what you want to say. You don't have to jump in every time. Just let the information be processed, and once it is processed, then you can put your opinion, because now you have heard opinion of everyone, and at the end you are giving your opinion. So stay calm. You don't have to pour your emotions into something. Be clear. Don't beat around the bush. Don't go into the loops, into the circle. Just say what you want to say. Just communicate what you want to communicate. Okay? Connections. And connections is very important, that you are communication is the form of networking, right? I'm going to, like, I am talking to you right now. I am making my connection with you. Connection means that you will know me, that you will know that, okay, she gave us this lecture about it, I will know about you. Okay, these were the attendees for this lecture. So this is why we are making connections, some sort of, right? And concise, actually we already talked about it. Be concise and be precise about what you want to say. Don't give extra information. Only give information which is asked. Don't, for example, if someone is asking why this your business is profitable, then only say the right information. You don't have to say a whole big essay or whole big speech. No. Five basic components of a communication. Now, one is the sender. For example, right now I am the sender, right? I am speaking. And so what communication skills I need to have? I need to have a right attitude. I need to have experience. I need to be culturally good. Like, I need to respect all cultures. I need to have a self concept. Self concept means I need to know what I am saying. The other component is message. Message is whatever I am saying. I am trying to deliver this lecture. This lecture is a message, right? Or an email is a message. A text is a message. So what are the elements? So you need to know about the structure, how you are going to structure, how I'm going to structure my presentation. What is the content I am including in my email, in text, or in this presentation? How I'm going to treat it? Am I going to use some coding or not? Channel. Now, channel is the medium, which medium I am using. For example, sorry, for example, seeing is a medium, like you can see me, right? Hearing is a medium, because you can hear me. So which channels we are using right now? We are using seeing, we are using hearing, right? We are not using touching. Like, touching is another one. When you hug someone, the other person, their formal hugs, their informal hugs, right? Handshaking is also a formal handshake, informal handshake. So that's, it comes under the touching. Smelling is like, When you smell something very pleasant, like a good perfume, you feel a little bit good. Your emotions are good, right? But when you feel something very bad, which stings or other thing, you can get it, your expressions change and you can get it accordingly. So smelling is another form of communication, that the thing or object that cannot speak, but that the object is communicating with you, right? When you smell a flower and you, for example, a rose, you smell a rose, you feel so good. But this way, the rose is an object that is communicating with you in the form of smelling. Tasting is the cuisines. For example, if I cook something very well, you are tasting it and you are liking it, right? So your emotions and feelings are being changed. So that food is also a medium through which the chef is actually communicating with you. This is how you rate a restaurant, right? That this restaurant is good, this food is good, this food is bad, and this restaurant is bad. Receiver. Who is a receiver? So you are the receiver right now because I'm communicating with you. You also need to have right attitudes. You cannot be arrogant with me, you cannot be rude with me, you cannot just jump over me and say the things. If you have opinion, you need to say it in a calm, productive, and positive way, and I need to respect that and the opinion on my side also. Culture, you need to know about the culture of the sender. You need to know about the culture of the community in which you are sitting and you are talking or conversing. You need to have a self concept. For example, as a receiver, which information you are receiving, then you need to know about what is the concept behind it. And then is the feedback. Feedback is to receiver and as well as to sender. For example, I can give a feedback about you, you can give a feedback about me. So it is a two-way stream that works, right? Examples of effective communication. You must follow and you must know about your body language. It must show that you are confident enough to do that, right? Be open-minded. It is very important. For example, all of us have been raised in certain environment in our homes. So we have our own biases with which we have been grown up, right? So when I am talking to you, you are from different culture, I am from different culture. So I have my own set of mind, you have your own set of mind. But we need to make our mind little bit flexible. There should be a room in my mind to receive opinions according to your culture, and you need to be flexible in your mindset to receive information from my culture, right? According to what I am going to say, because we both are different, but we need to have flexibility and room our in mind. We cannot have our thoughts, our mind very rigid, because that will not help us. Active listening, you need to be an active listener. For example, you are now active listener right now, you are listening to me and you are hearing what I am saying, right? Reflection, so you need to have a proper reflection about the conversation topic, or you can have this reflection by having some information, by having some logic or some data or figures. I statements, avoid so many of I statement like I. No, sometimes it needs to be like also third object, or it needs to be inclusive, so everyone is included in the conversation. Compromise, not always everyone is right, not everyone is perfect. So I can be wrong at many times, but I need to accept it that I am wrong. So that's way when I am saying, oh yeah, you are right, I think what you are saying, it makes more sense, then I am reaching the level of some sort of admitting that yeah, you are right. But if I am not agreeing, but I still feel, but the other person is also not agreeing, then we need to reach some compromise, some middle way, right? So for effective communication, you must learn that how to be confident. You must learn how to be listening. You must show empathy. You need to have more of the translation. Translation is not from one language to another language. Translation also means the translation of your feelings, your emotions into the right words, into the right tone that you are going to communicate. Clarity, body language, interpersonal connection. For example, sometimes you are connecting with people whom you already know. Right now, I'm connecting with you, but I don't know you. So this is called as interpersonal connections or level. Diplomacy, sometimes you need to use diplomacy, you cannot directly attack, right? But at the same time, you need to be honest what you are saying. So I would like you to watch this video for this. So I hope there is enough battery. So let's have this, let's watch this video.
Hello and welcome to the Communication Olympics, where kids are tested to see who can speak up and listen well. I'm your host, Walker Walter.
And I'm your host, Melissa Marissa. First, we have John Rigby. Last year, he famously took out his cell phone while Frankie Richardson was telling him about how her cat, Mr. Pickles, had diabetes.
It's like he didn't even care about what she had to say at all.
We have our judges scoring our athletes on a scale of 1 to 10. This is the listening event, so judges will be looking for proper active listening technique. Judges are looking for eye contact and nodding. You also have to give someone undivided attention, meaning you're actually trying to understand what the person is saying. Asking questions and making acknowledging statements also leads to a high score. Let's take this to our woman on the ground, 𝐸𝐫𝐶allahan. 𝐸𝐸𝐶?
John is engaging in conversation with his friend Valentina.
So Steph just left me. I didn't have anyone to see the movie with, and she didn't even say sorry. Like, we've been friends since she moved in across the street. Yeah, it's like really messed up.
Love that question asking. He would have gotten a higher score for restating what Valentina's original concern was and asking a clarifying question. But overall, it shows he's engaged.
I have like 3 hours of homework and 2 tests.
Oh no, it looks like a really, really cool caterpillar is climbing pretty close to John's sandwich. Look at those colors. This is a very cool caterpillar. Let's see what happens.
We don't even want music videos together.
Oh, hey, cool. Look at this caterpillar.
Hey, look at what?
He wants to talk about that very cool caterpillar because he's no longer interested in the conversation, but also wants to be a good friend to Valentina.
Hey, you know, that really sucks. Have you tried telling her how you feel and that you're upset?
I haven't. It's pretty cool of you to hear me out like this. Let's get to Mr. Roberts.
And he recovers. John clearly did the right thing by not getting distracted, even if he was getting bored. Then he nailed it with a great introspective question. Judges give it an 8.2. He was docked a few points for looking away, and we could have seen John stating the concern back to her. Back to you, Melissa Marissa.
Wow, that really was a great caterpillar. Next up, we're looking for effective communication style.
Like how someone sounds when they talk?
Definitely not, Walker. Judges are looking for assertive communication, which means being direct and honest about what you want without using any put downs or making someone feel bad.
That's what I meant.
Okay, so everyone could hear this this video or not? Can you please type in the chat box so I must know that did you hear this or not? Yeah. Could you hear this video?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, been hearing.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So this is another video I would like you to watch. It is from the TED Talk. It will show you what miscommunication is. So let's watch it. And then we will go to some practical examples. Okay.
With MailChimp, you can design.
Let me move it. Stop sharing. Let me share my screen again for this video. And let's see if you can watch it. Yeah.
Have you ever talked with a friend about a problem only to realize that he just doesn't seem to grasp why the issue is so important to you? Have you ever presented an idea to a group and it's met with utter confusion? Or maybe you've been in an argument when the other person suddenly accuses you of not listening to what they're saying at all. What's going on here? The answer is miscommunication, and in some form or another, we've all experienced it. It can lead to confusion, animosity, misunderstanding, or even crashing a multi-million-dollar probe into the surface of Mars. The fact is, even when face-to-face with another person in the very same room and speaking the same language, human communication is incredibly complex. But the good news is that a basic understanding of what happens when we communicate can help us prevent miscommunication. For decades, researchers have asked what happens when we communicate. One interpretation, called the transmission model, views communication as a message that moves directly from one person to another, similar to someone tossing a ball and walking away. But in reality, this simplistic model doesn't account for communication's complexity. Enter the transactional model, which acknowledges the many added challenges of communicating. With this model, it's more accurate to think of communication between people as a game of catch. As we communicate our message, we receive feedback from the other party. Through the transaction, we create meaning together. But from this exchange, further complications arise. It's not like the Star Trek universe, where some characters can Vulcan mind meld, fully sharing thoughts and feelings. As humans, we can't help but send and receive messages through our own subjective lenses. When communicating, one person expresses her interpretation of a message, and the person she's communicating with hears his own interpretation of that message. Our perceptual filters continually shift meanings and interpretations. Remember that game of catch? Imagine it with a lump of clay. As each person touches it, they shape it to fit their own unique perceptions based on any number of variables, like knowledge or past experience, age, race, gender, ethnicity, religion, or family background. Simultaneously, every person interprets the message they receive based on their relationship with the other person and their unique understanding of the semantics and connotations of the exact words being used. They could also be distracted by other stimuli, such as traffic or a growling stomach. Even emotion might cloud their understanding. And by adding more people into a conversation, each with their own subjectivities, the complexity of communication grows exponentially. So as the lump of clay goes back and forth from one person to another, reworked, reshaped, and always changing, it's no wonder our messages sometimes turn into a mush of miscommunication. But luckily, there are some simple practices that can help us all navigate our daily interactions for better communication. 1, recognize that passive hearing and active listening are not the same. Engage actively with the verbal and nonverbal feedback of others and adjust your message to facilitate greater understanding. 2, listen with your eyes and ears, as well as with your gut. Remember that communication is more than just words. 3, take time to understand as you try to be understood. In the rush to express ourselves, it's easy to forget that communication is a two-way street. Be open to what the other person might say. And finally, 4, be aware of your personal perceptual filters. Elements of your experience, including your culture, community, and family, influence how you see the world. Say, this is how I see the problem, but how do you see it? Don't assume that your perception is the objective truth. That'll help you work towards sharing a dialogue with others to reach a common understanding together.
Okay, so you see, there were two main things that you learned from here. Try to understand the other person as much as you want yourself to be understood by the other person, right? So that's the thing that I said. Make your mindset a little bit flexible and make a room in it so that you can accept other person's opinion and suggestions, because we all come from different backgrounds and we have been brought up differently. So we all have our personal biases. We need to put our personal biases in the back burner. Second thing, you saw that when the two were communicating, they said that it's like a layer of clump, like it's a clump of, basically, it's like a clump of something, right? So when you are communicating with that, and it's like a ball. So whoever is touching it is actually shaping it with the hand, adding on opinions and exaggerations or perceptions and throwing to the other person. And when we add this much of exaggerations and we add this much of like we are shaping it accordingly, sometimes it can turn into a miscommunication, and that's not a good way, right? So let's go to the next one. So what is your aha moment? What did you learn today? And with that note, I will actually stop sharing my screen and I will go all to all of you. And I would like to now ask some questions. For example, I would like to see actually what you learned from today's communication lecture. And I can see Thomas is here, Haruna is here. So, okay, she said, Fatina is saying that there is some. Okay, so yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, what we can do is we can have practice. Tomorrow will be completely a practice. I will practice with you how to do the oral communication, and I will see your body language. I will see your confidence. I will give you some certain topics, random topics. So let's do it tomorrow. Use the same Zoom link for the tomorrow. And tomorrow we will be covering more practical aspects, whatever we have learned today. I will upload this video on the YouTube and also to our channel, and I will send the link to all of you. With that note, I think we can end our session, and thanks everyone for coming today. And I will let you all go. Have a good evening and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Fatima.
Okay.
Bye. Take care. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Haruna. And Fanuel is not here right now. So thanks, everyone. I will stop recording.